Welcome to Essential Marketing Tools for Government Contractors, brought to you by the Washington Apex Accelerator. Apex Accelerators are part of a nationwide program dedicated to providing technical assistance to small businesses who wish to sell to federal, state, or local governments. The services provided by Apex Accelerators include guidance regarding how to market to government buyers, understanding certifications and registrations, finding opportunities to bid, interpreting solicitations and regulations, and locating research and development funding, and much more. Apex Accelerators are funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the Department of Defense. The Washington State Apex Accelerator has 8 centers across the state. Registered clients are able to meet individually with advisors as well as specialists, access a client learning portal, and take advantage of a reduced fee bid match service. You can learn more about the Washington Apex Accelerator by visiting the website. This video will review how to develop essential marketing tools for reaching out to government agencies. The first step is to determine your audience. Which government agency do you want to sell to? Most people are aware there are many federal agencies. Examples include the Departments of Defense, Transportation, or Veteran Affairs. There are also other federal agencies such as the National Endowment of the Arts or NASA. But there are more than just federal agencies you may want to sell to. Washington State has 190 different state government entities, including the State Departments of Transportation and Education, as well as the Office of Tourism and a variety of commissions. The key here is that state agencies operate differently from the federal agencies. They have different procurement policies, guidelines, and different certification processes. But there is more to consider beyond state or federal government agencies. Washington State has 39 counties. On a county level, you will find agencies that deal with law enforcement, construction, or rural health. Counties have their own rules and regulations regarding procurement. And there's more. Washington State has 281 local municipalities, each with their own procurement processes. You may find opportunities on a local level in public works, the fire department, or law enforcement. And there is more. There are other quasi-government agencies such as schools or tribal entities. You also may sell to a prime contractor or to one of the 49 other states. Determining who you are selling to is the first step in creating any marketing plan. For more information on what government entities might buy or how they buy it, we recommend you watch our Laying the Groundwork video. Now that you know your audience or who you want to sell to, you can create marketing tools that speak to that particular audience. Your government marketing toolset will include 3 main things: a capability statement, a 30-second introductory speech, and consistent, up-to-date online public profiles. Let's start with a capability statement. A capability statement is a succinct outline of your company's qualifications in government speak. It is formatted so the reader does not have to hunt for information. It is relevant to the reader, meaning it will be updated depending on the audience. And it tells a contracting officer what they want to know. A contracting officer or any government representative will want to know your contact information clearly labeled, your geographical coverage and availability, your areas of expertise, and examples of past performance or customers, as well as pertinent industry codes and relevant certifications. Other information that may or may not be included, depending on the audience, are such things as key personnel experience, industry licenses, quality assurance certifications, bonding levels, or security clearances. Your capability statement will be the key document you will use to introduce yourself to any government employee who may be interested in your business. You will use it as a hard copy takeaway at in-person events, as an attachment to an email correspondence, or as a downloadable document on your website. Note, this is a public document that anyone can see, much like a business card, so you will not include any proprietary information. There are many different formats you can use to arrange your capability statement, but no matter what the format you use, your capability statement will include these main sections. The document will be clearly labeled as a capability statement. Your company name and contact information will be prominent. Your expertise or core competencies will be presented in a bulleted list. A few differentiators should be mentioned, as well as a few relevant examples of your past performance. You will also include pertinent industry codes and certifications as well. The goal of this document is to get the attention of the reader so they ask questions. Therefore, it should be easy to read, is updated to include relevant information, and it gets to the point. No marketing jargon. Here's an example of another common format. Templates and personal assistance are available from your Washington Apex advisor. You will also want to be able to speak about your business in a succinct manner. So what are the elements of a strong elevator speech for government officials? Attributes of a strong elevator speech include that you provide an introduction as opposed to a sales pitch. You mention key information in the first several sentences to get their attention, and you keep it short in order to be respectful of the person's time. You will also want to follow up with a capability statement. Your elevator speech will be a verbal representation of your capability statement. It will include who you are representing, what your role is, and what your business's areas of expertise are. It is helpful to include some indication that you have a basic understanding of the government processes. For example, I'm registered on your website, or in SAM, or I'm a DBE firm. And finally, include a call to action. What is it that you want them to do with this information? They cannot give you a contract right then and there, so what do you want the next step to be? Washington Apex holds no-cost workshops that help you craft capability statements as well as your 30-second introductory speech. Register as a client and check out the Washington Apex calendar for an upcoming event or meet with your advisor. The final critical marketing tool is creating accurate public profiles. You will want your public profiles to be consistent and in line with your capability statement and introductory speech. Government officials will verify your story. A few of the databases they may access to do this are sam.gov, the SBA Dynamic Small Business Search, or DSBS, site, or the DBE directory. They also may check the Secretary of State listing in the state you are registered in, or your website to see how you represent yourself. Make sure your story is consistent. Let's review how these sites are used by government personnel. SAM.gov is a starting point for any federal contract or grant. It is used for contracting officers to do market research and invoicing. Federal contracting officers, prime contractors, and the general public have access to your profile on SAM.gov. The SBA DSBS site pulls data from businesses who are registered in SAM as a small business. This data is collected into one site where contracting officers can go to do market research on small businesses that are available for federal contracting. Federal contracting officers and prime contractors use this site frequently to do market research. Each state is responsible for maintaining their own disadvantaged business enterprise database. In Washington State, the database is maintained by the Office of Minority and Women's Business Enterprise, or OMWBE office. The database tracks DBE and SBE certified firms and is viewed by contracting officers, prime contractors seeking subcontractors, typically in construction, and other DBE or SBE firms seeking teaming partners for larger projects. The DBE and SBE certifications are a method of how the Department of Transportation tracks the participation of small businesses in transportation projects. You can learn more about how certifications work by watching our Government Certifications Explained video. And finally, some tips on how best to present yourself online. If you sell to commercial or private entities, as well as government entities, you may want to include a separate government tab on your website. You will want to include easy-to-find contact information as well. Contracting officers, prime contractors, and other firms seeking teaming partners will visit your website. Let's review some outreach tips and tricks. When introducing yourself to an individual, it is important to know who they are and what their role is. This will define what your call to action should be. Some individuals you may run into at government contracting events or presentations include contracting officers who are able to award contracts, small business liaisons who are frontline gatekeepers and promote the participation of small businesses in federal contracting, prime contractors who are large firms and have major contracts and most likely will have small business subcontracting goals, supplier diversity personnel who monitor compliance, and project managers who are the individuals who actually requested the purchase or actually use the product or service. It is important to understand the process before you start networking. Some key networking etiquette tips include: do not ask about any open solicitations, as government fairness and contracting regulations prohibit those kinds of discussions. You will inform, not sell. And only contracting officers can make agreements. Never start work without a written agreement. Washington state firms are invited to register with the Washington Apex Accelerator for no-cost assistance in navigating the government marketplace. Apex services include individual assistance and workshops designed to help you craft your marketing strategy and tools. You will find a link below to the Washington Apex website, as well as a downloadable version of this presentation complete with live links. This has been a presentation by Washington State Apex Accelerator. You can find other related content on the Apex Accelerator website.